At least I know who Little Rhodey is now. I didn't know who Little Rhodey was before. How you doing, my sister? Lisa, how you doing, my sister? How you doing, my sister? Our new citizen. And also, we have with us The one and only Abdul Jami. How are you, brother? We talking about business today, and we talking about what's holding us back from doing exactly what we need to do in order to get started. Hold on, I'm gonna put my little plug out here inside the comments real quick, and I'm just going to tag. Let's do that for me. Let's just tag if you happen to be following us on the live on Facebook. Then just do that little, at followers thing and see if you can bring your buddies in. And let's go in. By the way, we're simultaneously live on Facebook in our Discord Bestco Retail channel. And we're also live on YouTube as well on the Freedom Nation channel. Let's unpack what's holding you back. I love things that rhyme. Holding you back. For those in the Discord channel, let me tell you how it works. You are inside of what's called a stage. Probably the most important part of the stage is the fact that you can raise your hand. You can also send comments, and the comments are the best. And let's see, you're always saying he can't hear. So it's probably because my microphone was off. I apologize. That might help. It might help. So wait a second. My microphone is off. My video came in HyperX. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? If you don't understand the reference, then you're not old enough. That is the reference of everything else. So let's talk about what's holding you back, right? We did a what do you call this? We did a survey, okay, on our Discord channel. We did a survey on our Discord channel, and we asked people about things that were inhibiting them or holding them back. And as we did that, let's take a look here. Let's look at it. Let me share it with everybody so you can see what I see, because I want you to see what I see. Okay, let's switch over here and let's leave this window and let's trade it up here. Let's trade it up here for the Discord window. Okay, so we're in our Discord channel, and it's an awesome place. And we asked the question earlier in the Discord channel. Here it is. Kind of what would make you kind of leap start your business? What is holding you back? What is reframing you from being able to do the things that you really want to do? And, as a joke, I put up there a huge bag of money because everybody will say money. Everybody will claim that it's cash that's holding them back. That's a constant thing. It's not brand new. So we, instead of saying cash, we put some other things like somebody doing it for me. I mean, that's the good old American way. A decent boost of confidence. Some of us are suffering from different kind of inhibitions that come from that. A way that would ensure I did not have to do much work, and something else. Now, if you're not, for any given reason, if you are not inside of our Discord, then let me go ahead and push a link for you. Hold on, I'm going to copy it. This link lasts for 7 days, so it's not going to be here forever. I'm going to post it to our YouTube channel, and I'm going to say join our business support community for free at na. There we go. So I post that out there. If you're not with us on Discord for some reason and you can't see these things that I'm showing you, then I behoove you, come join us. Come join us. I'd sing a song, but I don't think that'll work at 9 o'clock at night. So a better understanding of what are the steps and the costs. So some people are saying that it's lack of information of doing something to move forward. So a lot of times we make those claims. Like we'll say that somehow not having enough info or I don't know enough is what's stopping me. I'm going to tell you that almost every single time that's not the case. I'm going to challenge you. And if you're watching anywhere, I ask you to throw in the comments, talk to us. And I'm telling you for a fact that 9 times out of 10, when you say that lack of information is the cause of your inability to move forward, then 9 times out of 10, you're covering for something else, right? 9 times out of 10, you actually have a bigger problem, but you're not really taking it on in full. And that bigger problem typically has to do either with fear, because fear, we try to compensate fear with information, right? Well, abundance of information is a way for us to overcome fear and overcome the lack of knowledge. Sister Shakura, how are you? We're in the chat inside Discord. Please feel free, plug in, dial in. If you're in the chat, like I said, in our Facebook or on our YouTube, then throw up at least a comment so we know who you are and we can recognize you as well. But fear, when we ask the question, what is holding people back? What is holding you back from going after the things that you really want to do, right? Those things that you really want to do, a lot of people say it's lack of information. And like I said, we try to utilize the abundance of information as a means by which to compensate for fear, right? Let me give you an example. Let's use a real example, right? Let's just use something simple like water. Right? Let's say we're swimmers and we go to jump in the body of water. And one of the things we'll say is, I don't know what's in there. Right? I don't know what's in there. I'm not going to jump in there. I don't know what's in there. Okay? That's a simple example. Simple example. We have a fear of the unknown. And we try to compensate it with a bulk of information. Most of us that are trying to build our business, and please comment in. This is a live situation, and it's live because the comments mean everything. The interaction from the family is what we're here for more than anything else. If you see me looking up, it's because I've got this big screen above me that's got all of the other streams and everything else there. Actually, I've got a pretty fancy setup. One of these days I'll show you about it. I'm pretty proud of that. But we're talking about inhibitors, right? Jamie, you run a business. What inhibits you from growing your business, right? The straight question, what is inhibiting you? Sister Shakura, you are also an experienced entrepreneur. What inhibits you from pushing forward into the unknown? What is it that stops you from doing something that you feel is necessary for your life, that you feel like you want to accomplish, but for some reason it's holding you back? Or what has stopped you in the past? What has inhibited you? And what do you think goes behind it? Jamie says right now it's having some bounce back when I get knocked around. Bounce back. Jamie, explain bounce back. What's bounce back, man? Write it down and tell us, what does bounce back mean? All of us don't understand that Atlanta vernacular. As a matter of fact, I don't think it's Atlanta. I think it's Tuskegee. But the question is we're dealing with the topic that we had before. And I love to deal with the topic of fear. I love to. I really do, because as these grays start to come into my face more and more and more, I start to realize that there's nothing more inhibitive than fear. And that more of us need to make a study of how to, not only how to get rid of fear, not only how to challenge fear and deal with fear, but we also need to make a solid study on how fear affects us individually. Salam, I can only listen for now. A text, I need to be consistent. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So the when the business of my life, Jamie says, gets turbulent or hard to handle, when the pressure cooks me, I find it difficult to recover and get back up again. Okay, that's a little different than fear, isn't it? That's self-confidence. That's a different monster. That's a different monster altogether, right? That's confidence. So let's deal with two. We're stacking up now, right? We're stacking up about the fear of engagement, right? Then we're going to talk about another fear. This is another one, because self-confidence also, believe it or not, comes from fear. Lack of self-confidence originates from fear. And that might not make a lot of sense, but lack of self-confidence does originate from fear, because it's the fear that you won't succeed, or the fear that something bad will happen. I heard a great adage, right? It's an old Marine Corps concept, And in this concept, it talks about overcoming fear, one, with preparedness, right? Preparedness. First step, prepare, right? That means get your ducks in a row, right? Do the best you can to try to set it up. And a lot of us, like I said, we think that preparedness does it. But there's an old military adage as well that says, no plan survives the battlefield. No plan survives the battlefield. Some of us go in conquering fear as we move into a thing, and then face fear as we deal with the hardship that comes from it. I want to throw up something really quick. It's called a hype curve. Okay, I want to talk about the hype curve because a lot of us aren't necessarily aware that this is a common, very, very common thing. Okay, let me share it with you really quick. Let's switch over, and I'm going to go away from our Discord, and I'm going to share with you my screen. And the reason why I'm going to do that is, and if you give me 1 second, I'll make the switch. There we go. Okay, let's talk about a hype curve. And I love this. I love a hype curve. This one, I don't particularly care for the titles. We say technology trigger and then peak of inflated expectations. Let's go past this first part about the trigger thing, and let's go into this peak of expectations, of inflated expectations. This is important. A lot of us don't realize how important this is. This happens with absolutely everything that we do. If you've been married for more than 20 years, you have went through this. 30 years, absolutely. You went through these things in your marriage. If you started a business, you have gone through this. No matter what you do, no matter what you're involved in, you will experience these things. You will definitely experience these things. First, what happens is this. Something triggers. Something tells you it's time to move. It can be a hardship, like you can have not enough money. You can see an opportunity that you think that just, is the most greatest opportunity in the world. You can blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. And you start. You overcome the initial fear, not having enough, lack of preparedness, the fear of failure, the fear of anything else, and you overcome that fear, and then you start, right? You start. Now, once you start, what will happen initially, typically in anything that you thought was a good idea, anything especially that you prepared significantly to do, you will reach this peak of inflated expectations. That means that when you start, it'll feel like a euphoria of things just kind of moving. And some people got language for it, man. It was just right. I got the feeling. I got a spirit. I know this was meant for me. Blah, 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 blah. And you'll have all of that stuff go down in this peak, right before you hit this peak of inflated expectations. Right before you hit this peak. And I swear to you, one of the biggest gifts I was given was when I was 21 years old. This was explained to me. So I have always known it. I made a mistake when I was a kid of getting out of something that I should have stuck into because I hit the next plateau, the next trough inside this thing and didn't know what I was dealing with. From then on, I know how to stick in things because I understand the best part comes down at the end. So first of all, you get in. That's hard enough. Most of us never start. We never start. So then when we do start, we feel that euphoria. We tell people, man, it's good. Yeah, I'm doing this and that, such and such, blah, blah, blah. And then we hit the peak. The absolute height. The absolute peak of that expectation. And what is inevitable? Absolutely inevitable. If you're with a great lady or a great guy, you'll be enjoying all the goodness of them. And then you'll start to find little things out. Little things will change. People start to irritate you. If you're in a business, You'll be running a great business and things are going on and things are happening. And you're like, this is awesome. This is running. Yes, exactly what I expected. You get that first couple of sales from your family members and stuff like that. And you'll tell yourself, I can do this. I can keep going. And then you hit the trough of disillusionment as things start to constantly fall apart. Has anybody, Jamie, or a sister girl, have you ever experienced this, what they call the trough of disillusionment? The trough of disillusionment, and we're just hearing the text here. But have you ever experienced this feeling that what you thought would be just ain't, and it feels like it's just falling apart, and you really, really think, I shouldn't have done this at all. What I like about the visualization, I see yes, yes, yes. What I like about the visualization of a hype curve is the visualization puts the trough of disillusionment somewhere as low as, and sometimes it can be lower than your starting point. And I think that's very important, right? Because it means that you can get to this place where you think, I would have been better off if I had never done this. I will tell you, most people quit everything at the trough of disillusionment. Probably the most significant factor between successful people and non-successful people in any particular endeavor is the ability to move past the trough of disillusionment and to be able to move on to the next level of this hype curve. Our brother, we just came in. We're on Discord, so I'm not calling out names, but our brother, Bigger Rank, what we did is we're talking about hype curve. We're talking about engagement. We're talking about overcoming fear. We're talking about overcoming the reality of the ups and downs that will happen with any new thing that we start. And we're doing so in order to try to better prepare ourselves and give ourselves better tools in order to to normalize our situations and to know how to get past them. So we talked about this idea of something that makes us start. And like I said, 90% of the people don't start. So then 10% of the people go forward and 90% fall out at the trough of disillusionment. And you want to know what those 90% who started and failed do? They talk to the other 90% and convince them never to start. That's why there's so many people that every time you go to do something will tell you right off the bat, you shouldn't get into it. They won't understand your idea. They won't understand what you're into. They won't understand how you're trying to start. There are so many people that will do that because they feel like they have an abundance of social proof of people who started something and failed. And therefore, it is a solidifier for them that is something that you should have never tried in the first place. Right? Brother Big Rank, have you ever dealt with this? You ever started something, had a great start, hit a big fail, or have you ever went to start something and asked people's advice and you had a plethora of people tell you not to start? We're in the chat over here. If you're in the Discord, you can respond in the chat. The conversation is there. So we know what this feels like. Everybody is resonating with this concept right now, this concept of failure. But here's the most beautiful part. And this is where the beauty of human beings really takes off. And if you are ever going to be successful at anything, if you look back at all the things that you were successful with, one of the greatest things is if you're a parent. If you're a parent and you look back at raising your kids, we absolutely, with every child, my father did with me, go through all of these steps. Baby's born, right? Matter of fact, let's start before the baby's born. The trigger in that way is a happy trigger. It's usually a pretty wife or I can't even think. I'm inclined towards women myself. A handsome husband. That's what it's called, right? So if you start with that, that's a great starting point. The euphoria of love and happy feelings And this has relevance in business because we fall in love with our business ideas. We fall in love with the things that we think will work. We see a clear vision in our head as to how the outcome could be great. We grab a product, we want to sell it, right? Just like we grab like something like this business in the box, and I love to keep it inside. And remember that we at Bestco, we're doing that. You start here, and you open a package, and there's all this awesome stuff in it, blah, blah, blah. And yes, do everything to make sure you have a great start. But you start out with love, and then you make a baby, and then the baby comes out, and the baby's pretty. And that little happy baby play. The expectation's huge. I'm having a kid, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, you deal with reality. You go through this trough of disillusionment when you realize how much it takes to take care of a kid. When the kid don't necessarily act the way you expect them to act. When you realize all the things that are involved. Maybe your lack of preparedness. Maybe your preparedness just didn't work. I want you to reference that to any business idea or any business you found yourself in. That excitement of birthing something new into the world. That excitement of creating something special. And then having it come to the level that you thought, oh, yes, I'm doing something. And then the hardship realized when you got to do finances. The hardship realized when you don't have enough money. The hardship when your preparations don't go as far as you like. All of that stuff. Now, at this point, at the trough of disillusionment, I'm going to tell you one of the absolute best things you can have. And that's what Jamie, I think, is talking about, right? And that is you can have someone to help support you and reinforce you through that trough. Someone who will tell you exactly how amazing, remind you of how amazing you are, provide substance. I mean, substantial assistance. It does not have to come in the form of money. It can come in the form of absolute advice, wisdom, other resources, attachment. It can come in the form of a credit. It can come in the form of reputation boosters. It can come in so many different forms. But really, seriously, those of us who go in things alone and we get to this trough, these are the ones who typically fail the most. We started this, like I said, we're talking Discord channel. We started, if you see the link, click it. We started the business support community because we understood that the trough of disillusionment was real. We understood that people needed a way to overcome the reality and inevitability of initial failure. And when you have that group, when you have those people, anybody listening, you can throw it in the comments. Anybody got a posse? Anybody got a crew? Anybody got at least one person in their life that when they hit that trough, they help them through. They help reinforce them. They help them bounce back. Now, I like the next stage. I know you do, sister. I love him. I love your support system. That guy makes me smile. I talk to him if I want a boost. so this. I mean, the thing is, the bigger that support network can be, the better. You know why? It's the next level. The next level is the slope of enlightenment. I like that. It's where we learn. It's where truth is revealed. It's where we see what is really going on and we start to understand what we got ourselves into. The disillusionment of the thing, just that pretty baby, goes away. But as you learn, you don't just learn the hardship, you learn the beauty of the thing. As you learn the tricks and as you learn the things and so forth and so on, that's how it gets in. I'd love to read in some of the comments while I'm sitting here yattering and chattering my mouth off, and we're only going to be on here for a couple more minutes. But as I'm there, share your stories, right? Share your story. Tell us, even if in brief. Give us in the chat. Tell us that level of enlightenment, those things that you've learned along the path of your slope of enlightenment. Some of them can be life lessons. I like it because, I remember one time I started my first business. I was sitting inside Home Depot. I was buying some things, and I was stuck. I was totally stuck in those inflated expectations, and so much so I could actually like envision them in the air. And I was sitting at the cash register, and I'm looking up in the air, and I'm like, and a man that I didn't know, older man, slapped me on the shoulder. And he said, yo, young man, look forward. What you need is in front of you. It ain't up there. And whatever you see it, you got work to get there. And he didn't know me, but he understood what was happening. And he understood that I needed that. He understood that that reinforcement was necessary, right? That slope of enlightenment to me is probably the reason that I start. There's a euphoria of climbing out of a trough of disillusionment into a slope of enlightenment. Anyone that climbs from disillusionment to enlightenment is going to be happy. Anybody who comes from not knowing and feeling down and feeling like something's broken to seeing things as they are. And if I do that, you can hear it, right? You heard it. You can hear the trumpets play when you do that because that's opening up. And if you don't get past that point where 90% of us fail, where the other 90% that fail try to convince you that you shouldn't even have started for, you'll never get to that beautiful euphoria. We do it when we work out. Or at least all of us at some point in our life, I think we've tried to work out. If you work out for any 6-week period, you will go through this hype curve. And when you are riding that high of enlightenment, if you fast, if you do whatever, it's a straight up high. It's a straight up high. It feels great. It don't mean everything's worked out. It just feels great to know that you have steady progress and you're learning and you're open. So one of the reasons for this live and one of the reasons we did it inside of our Bestco World retail support channel is because we want to just really reiterate to you that last stage, that plateau of productivity is possible. Being a highly productive, highly successful individual, both in your business and your life, is something that is absolutely possible. But you need to go in with realistic expectations. If you have realistic expectations, it lowers the peak of inflated expectations. And it lowers the traumatism, the traumatic response that you have as you start to fall into that trough of disillusionment, which I am telling you what other people won't tell you, right? So many people trying to say you should do your own business, you should do this and whatever, won't say to you, you will experience a form of failure along the way. But I'm just telling you at that point, don't give up, lean on the community, become active, call out, reach out, talk, engage, because that's what will solve it. That enlightenment comes from knowledge. It comes from information and positive reinforcement. And that always comes when you're inside a group of like-minded people who are struggling towards the same goal. It's why we bond together in the first place. It's group dynamics. It's why human beings come together. If you are out there in the world and you are isolated in your initiatives, the going through this trough will darn near break your back. It's very possible. I'm not wishing that on anybody, but I'm saying that it's tough. But if, and I'll switch back here and look dead on because we're about to end the piece. If you have a great support group, if you are attached to a wonderful system that has been thought out, that you refine, that appreciates your input, then you've done something great. You've done something great. That's why we do it at the Freedom Nation. We do it from the residential side. We do it on the business side. And even in Bestco, we focus on the group and the community. We think it's the most greatest and most valuable asset to success for everyone because the community is what really makes things wonderful. Right before we leave, I want to say thank you to everybody for even taking the time. I'm going to respect your time by keeping this under 30 minutes and tell you that I love you, and I wouldn't be doing any of this if I didn't. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you happy. I want when your kids see Uncle Fruit, they say, Uncle Fruit, or some people, grandkids, say Uncle Fruit. And they know that I feel in my heart, deep somewhere, that I had something to do with helping you to do the things you wanted to do in your life for the people that you care about. I'll remind you very quickly about our business in the box. Today, I want to just really point out SMA Wholesale. SMA Wholesale is started by Arlene Elamine, and she is an 83-year-old veteran of our community. She was one of the original secretaries, okay, very early on in OI. Okay, she has been around for a long time. Her spirit is wild. Wow, I mean, it's beautiful. Sister Arlene has the best spirit, and she's one of the best people I know. She has raised amazing children and grandchildren, and I think she has great-grandchildren. Her son is the imam of the Masjid, Minnesota, and was essential in assisting with the process of dealing with George Floyd and the bad things that happened to him, right? Supporting Keith Ellison as he took those horrible people to court and then put them in jail. Sister Arlene Elamine is the mother. Her husband passed away, but the mother and the father. But she's definitely the queen of that space there in Minnesota of helping people to do amazing things. And her spirit is literally contagious at a massive level. I call her Umi. I call her Mama. And she has SMAs. Now, she created a wonderful thing called SMA's Wonder Butter that is used to deal with pain and stuff like that. You can look it up online. But she also has SMA's Wholesale and Distribution that is started by Besco, and it's one of the Besco Wholesale Collective companies. In that box, anybody going online and ordering this box and starting that business will receive shea butter that we source directly from the farms in northern Sahara region of Ghana, out of just north of Tamal. Okay, I'm saying that because it actually came from there, right? Also, it'll have cocoa butter inside of it as well. So you have cocoa butter, shea butter, and we have coconut oil in the box. I love showing this because I was there when the guy pressed it, and it was really awesome. But this is a pure coconut oil, very pure, right? And then the outside of the coconut went to make this active charcoal. I shouldn't open that up because it's going to spill on me. Okay, this active charcoal that goes into toothpaste, everything else. SMA is all about giving you natural ingredients to produce your own products. So you can produce whipped butter, you can produce anything, you can produce all kinds of stuff from what you can get from SMA, and you're always sure it comes directly from the source. If you buy that box from Business Co, from Besco, excuse me, then you will see it. The link to the box is inside of our channel. You can always get it, or you can just search Besco, Business in the Box, on Google. You'll find it. But we're here, and I want to remind you that, and I want to remind you that we are here to help you and assist you, not because any of us are weak or unknowledgeable, but because as a group and a collective, or not because any of us just know so much more than everybody else that we should be sitting here doing this, but because the collective efforts of the group of like-minded people reaching toward the same goal helps us get past the hardships that we inevitably face while trying to reach our goals. And I would hope that you would take advantage of this. Our brother here, who's there, you see Bigger Rank, he is already a Business in the Box owner, and he's already started down his retail path, and he's already taking advantage of our support community. So I would encourage anyone else who watches this, sees this, to do the same. We're here to make it so you can make more money and do better things for your family. Take advantage of it. Thank you very much. Tune in. We'll do another one. We'll give you more notice next time. I just want to see who would show up if we did this in a short period of time. All right. Love to everybody. Peace and be blessed.